something like that. Okay, so, no, please not. I know I have such big respect of Polish piano players. My favorite piano player in the world living now is Polish, but he lives in Switzerland, of course. Why? Yeah, Christian Zimmermann. He's just a master. Okay, yeah, it's risky to talk about Mozart, I know, because everybody loves Mozart. Really, everybody. Nobody in the world doesn't like Mozart. Some hate even Brahms, some hate Wagner, I understand. Yeah, Polish composer. Oh, you have Chopin, yes, also good. Switzerland, what do we have? We have Switzerland, very good composers, mainly clarinet composers. Heinrich Suttermeister is a Swiss composer. If you see this thema, you know how is the Swiss character. Okay, so I tried to do a really serious lecture about Mozart. We have nice instruments, meanwhile. Only I started with a little bit historic clarinet interpretation, historical story. Who was the first who recorded the clarinet concerto on this bassette clarinet? Who knows?
Anton Stadler.
No, Anton Stadler couldn't record. He lived in the 18th century. But who was it? Almost Anton Stadler, yes. Hans-Rudolf Stalder. Hans-Rudolf Stalder was my teacher. Did you know him? Yeah, the old generation. A fantastic teacher. I started with him in Basel. And yes, so what I want to talk today, it's not possible to talk about Mozart, about interpretation of this wonderful concerto in 45 minutes. I give just only a focus on one topic. And the topic is obviously a very actual and hot topic. The distinction of playing Mozart in an audition for orchestra, because you young guys has to do that. It's a very hard thing. I've never done it. I've never did an audition for an orchestra. And on the other side, to find your interpretation, personal interpretation of this concerto, to play it with an orchestra together, and yes, find your voice in this wonderful music. And on last Sunday, I sent around 20 or 30 mails to my colleagues over the whole world, and because I thought, okay, it's the normal musical thing, you get returned 1 or 2 mails, because a lot of musicians think that organization is not an important thing in your life. In brackets, it's very important. The professors here are very good organizers, you know, that's why I'm standing here. So, okay, but this question, you cannot imagine, I got 25 long answers till last Sunday. How it is different and what do you have to do in an audition? Now, unfortunately, on Monday, 10 people in a train in Switzerland fell on my computer, poof, after a hard stop. So my computer is, and my mails since then are not here. So unfortunately, I cannot profit of that. But I have certain things in mind. I could not even read carefully all these emails. So I will have, yes, the comparison. So first I will talk about the different situation of an audition and a concert. Then, very generally, what is an interpretation? The third, the audition version of Mozart, case 622. And at last, it will not rest a lot of time. You can buy also my CD, then you know how I want my interpretation. You have at least one, and you anyway, you have a lot at home, and you know it. But yes, I will see how much I can talk about the last one. So can we go on the next page? Oh, worse, wow. So that's not a football result, 0-1. It's not Poland against Switzerland. No, it is, O is, why O? O is audition, and E is interpretation. O. It should be an A. Audition. Okay, so when you go to an audition, it's not a situation like that. you have 50 people, they are laughing when you make jokes. No, you have people, they are really bored of being here. They don't hate you, no. But they really don't want to listen to you. And not Mozart again. They listen to this piece 1,000 times like that. They don't want it. And you have to persuade this specific people behind the curtain. A totally artificial situation that never exists anywhere else in the world. Then second, what is it when you make an interpretation? Is to make an artistic statement to an audience. You communicate with the audience. You play, you give every time when you do a concert a unique artwork of an interpretation. A good player never plays the same piece in the same way. So, totally different situation. The second, when you go for auditions, that I saw in all these emails I got of all these clarinet players, and it's from United States, from Europe, from Japan, from everywhere. There are really clear criteria about it, and we can talk about what is asked and what do you have to fulfill. Of course, it's not a guarantee that you pass everywhere the first round, but there are criteria. The second is you have an open, creative, personal choice what you do. When you do your interpretation, you are free. You do what you want. The only thing what you want to do is to persuade your audience, that the audience applaud, and more important, that the organizer of the concerts think I invite you next year for Weber, because I liked your concert. But that's always the same thing. When you persuade an audience, the audience applauds, standing ovation, then the organizer will hire you again. So it's totally different. The first thing you play with piano, totally problematic thing, play Mozart with this piano version. It can be that the pianist is not good. It can be that the pianist loves you, and it can be that the pianist hates you. I know of correpetitors that they influence auditions. It's very, very easy as a pianist. You have to know that. It's very unjust. But it's a totally stupid situation. Anyway. Then the next is leading and cooperate with an orchestra. Oh my God. And that's not the whole thing. Sometimes you have a conductor who disturbs. So it's even more difficult. But to play with 40 people, you don't know them, and you just have to interact them musically. Not an easy task as well. Then, in the first, you have hardly interaction with the listeners. I'm sure if you start dee da 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 and three behind the curtain make you know it was not good. They will never applaud. They will say thank you. We wish you a good future. The next is an intense interaction when you play as a soloist. Intense interaction with other musicians, mainly. Of course, with the concertmaster, the conductor, you interact with them, and of course with the audience. So we see it's really a totally different situation. When I teach Mozart, we first clarify, the student and me, what are we doing now? Are we doing an orchestra version, you go to an audition, or do we work on the interpretation of Mozart? It's totally different. Now, shortly ago, what is good, or what do we do when we make an interpretation of music? So, when we, fine, I will, after that, I will work on it. Okay, what we have is a text, music. You know where is the handwriting of Mozart? Where? In my hometown, in Winterthur, in Zurich. A Swiss Zurich guy bought the first 192 bars of Mozart concerto are there, but not as the concerto in A for bassette clarinet. It's a concerto for bassette horn in G, not the bassette horn we have today, a very special instrument we don't have at all anymore, in G. and not even completed, but it gives really some very interesting information about the concerto. That's all what we have. We have then the prints, we have all kind of things. We have to guess. We don't know what is really the text, what Mozart wrote. But at least we have good guess, we have musicologues who did really good research. So we have a text. And so, of course, I think, I'm also a composer. I always, when I hear people who just play anything, specifically with the big masters, I get angry. When they play Mozart like the biggest virtuoso concerto, then I say, you are stupid, sorry. You don't understand this piece. You have to know it's a dance and in the tradition, and if you want to show that you're a great virtuoso, compose your own piece. That's what I do. I compose my own pieces. I play fucking difficult pieces tonight. Just because I love the virtuosity, and for virtuosity, okay, play Rossini. Then you know how difficult it is. But Mozart is not a piece to show your virtuosity skills. This is not, you can show your musical skills. So, but we have to respect the text, we have to respect the style. We know very much about the style. We have no recordings. He has recordings of Stadler, yes, but he keeps it for himself. But we know a lot. My model, my idol is Arnoncourt. You know, Arnoncourt, he started, and meanwhile we have great research. I know you have in Poland also great musicologues, mainly also in England. There were a lot of people who did very nice research about the style of the interpretation of the time. So, of course, then we, in top of that, we give a personal statement, our view on the composition. Because we have, although, if we respect the text, if we respect the style, we can still do it very free. We have a freedom of doing it. That's number 3. Then what I want to do, when I make an interpretation, I want clarity and consciousness of your statement. Just don't play dee da 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 da. Why not? No, play. How do you play the G? What do you do the G? What is the articulation? How is the G going? How long is the G? Is there a little hold to the next E or not? How do you do it? Be conscious exactly of what you do. And as more you're conscious, as better you are. I learned that of another great composer, of Karl-Heinz Stockhausen. I told Barbara I had my lesson who changed my life. He worked with me in Freundschaft like that, every note. And he really was hard with me. But it was a school, just to know, yeah, he can do that with me with his music, of course. Mozart, I have to find out myself what I want. But I try to achieve the same precise interpretation as I got taught by Stockhausen. Now, it's not the corrected one. Nick was so nice to correct it. It's still there. Ausreizen des kreativen Raumes. We have very nice words in German. Ausreizen, what did we say?
Exploitation.
Exploitation of the creative space. You have, in every music, you have a creative space where you can go. And that's true. In Mozart, the creative space is narrow. If you play Mozart, has really an ideal, almost an ideal tempo. Also, if you look, they're not, when you listen before Brahms, you're at so different tempi. And Brahms, you can really choose different tempi. You can. But Mozart, we agree that it's something around 120, 124, 122, 126. But please not 138. And the next is, of course, then the fantasy, that you use fantasy. Creation is fantasy. It's not just obeying some rules. You have to make a personal thing. And now, what is an important thing is, not what you do is important, yes. Do you play piano? Do you play mezzo piano? The most important thing is how you do it. How do you make the piano? How do you play it? Not, you play staccato, okay. Yeah, but it says nothing. You can play good in staccato, and you can play good in legato, but you can do both things also bad. The how is the important question. Okay.